So the menu features all of the pages, and by tapping on one of these boxes with that icon, it can take the user to the page. Starting with the prompts page. The user can press the Start Writing button to respond to the prompt. They can enter what they like, enter whatever username they want to be published, and then they can submit it with this Submit button. That'll take them back to the main page. If they choose not to respond, change their mind, they can press the Back button. They can view other users' posts, and by clicking on the response itself, they can see the whole response with the name and the date published. All the other pages are accessible through this menu icon. They can press back and they can go back into it, and they can get to other pages or back to the home. The notes page follows some of the same design ideas as the prompts page. The goal is for the user to be able to write down their ideas and have them organized in one place. So they can start a new note by pressing on the new note box, save or delete it, which will take them back to the main page, or they can simply press the back button. And they can click on one of the save notes to read it, to edit it, and save or delete it. The submissions page shows publications that take submissions from writers in the area. In this way, aspiring writers can take the next step and submit their work. It can be easily added to or adjusted with new publications. Each box has the name of the publication and a bit of information about them. Clicking on it should link the user to the actual website of the publication. They can go back by pressing the back button at the top. The workshop page just has tips and ideas taken from the workshops that Youngstown holds. They're just shortened tips. Users can scroll through or read, and more can be added as created. The blog page is simply posts from Youngstown's blog. They're easily accessible here. Each box shows a preview of the article, the title, and the picture along with it. When they click on it, they can see the article in full and when it was published, and they can tap the back button to exit. The events page shows the current month's calendar with gold boxes indicating events on that day. They press on that box. They can get the day and all of the information about it. Pressing back will take them back. And of course, through the menu icon, they can either go back to their page or they can go back to the home menu. After creating the paper wireframes, I started first with Illustrator to nail the basics of the wireframe layout and get all the elements in. And from there I moved the elements piece by piece into XD after I got something that I was satisfied with. But some crucial design elements changed from Illustrator to XD because of the ability to test designs on my phone, on a smaller screen. They may have looked good on my laptop in Illustrator, but of course they look different on a smaller screen. Before creating this app, I first tried to gain inspiration from other apps currently in use with similar features. There's not an app exactly like the one I'm trying to make, but there are similar ones with a lot of the same features, such as a notepad or a calendar. Most of them were fairly simple with not a lot of buttons or graphics, just enough to be functional and look clean and modern, which is what I tried to achieve here. I didn't want it to look overdone. I wanted it to be simple without too many bells and whistles. The splash page shows a picture to showcase the work that Youngstown does. Originally, my splash page had no pictures of real people, which was a mistake because it dehumanized the organization. The more decorative font of the menu and the page headers is meant to emulate a typewriter, giving an association to writing and fitting in with the theme of Late Youngstown. In trying to work more with the theme colors, the type was changed to purple instead of black in the slide-out menu, in the main menu, and the headers to match the logo's purple. From the beginning, I based the color scheme on their logo, featuring the colors purple, green, and gold. However, since these are very bright colors, especially against text, I turned down the opacity and saturation when they were backdrops against text to make it less obtrusive to the eye, especially contrasting against the bright white of a phone screen. Those very bright colors could be distracting. The two main buttons are the back button and the hamburger menu button. Since the audience is assumed to be average to above average tech literacy, and the hamburger menu is a common menu function, I assume most users will understand what it is and how to use it without the word menu, and the same with the back button. The slide out menu from the hamburger menu icon was one of the inspirations I took from other apps. It made navigation easier instead of having to go back to the home page in order to navigate to new pages. It originally was too dark with not enough dimension, so I changed it to a lighter color to contrast with the buttons and added a shadow underneath to give the illusion that it was set off from the page when it slid out. The text was a struggle to get right. Through early feedback and my own observations, the thin, small font Futura Light, which I was originally using, made it a struggle to read sometimes on a smaller screen. I chose a font with a heavier weight to make reading and writing a bit easier. Additionally, the last major change I made was to the weight of the menu typewriter-esque font. From user testing feedback, this font was too thin and hard to make out against the button, so making the text slightly bigger with a heavier weight should remedy that. To conduct user testing, I asked 2 people to navigate the app, and I tested them briefly to make sure that they could access certain features with no outside instruction, trying to simulate what a real user would have to do. I first let them navigate the app to get a feel for it, and then I asked the questions. Afterwards, I asked for their overall opinion of the app and for any suggestions. As you can see, they seemed to navigate the pages well without help. They understood, especially, what the hamburger menu meant and how to exit it or to get back to the home page without any extra instruction. After I let them have several seconds to access most of the pages, I asked them to access specific features to make sure they understood how to get there. If they couldn't get to those pages, that meant I might have had to change something in my navigation, but luckily they seemed to understand all of the instructions.
Alright, access one of the pages, any one, and go back to the menu page. On the notes page, write a new note. And delete a saved note. Awesome. On the submission page, access the Jenny and go back. On the events page, look at the details for an event. On the prompts page, respond to the prompt and submit it. Look at the first user's response. On the blog page, read the first article and go back. And access the home page.
After I asked them to do specific things, I then asked them their overall opinion and if they had any suggestions. One user had no suggestions, and one had a very helpful suggestion, which led to a change in the text in the slide-out menu. Okay, is the text readable against the background?
Yes, but there was one place where it wasn't. I have to find it.
Sure.
Oh, like here.
Here, that's a little hard. Okay. Does the menu icon make sense? Do you know how to navigate to the pages?
Yes.
Okay. Is it easy to navigate?
Yes.
What are your initial responses to the app?
It's very easy to use, very easy to figure out. I really like the colors. There are a lot of calming colors.
Is it
I like the
appealing
design.
and does it match the logo?
Yes.
In all, both users said they liked the color scheme and found the navigation easy to use. They also gave me ideas for minor changes afterward to improve the design. This was especially helpful because both users are part of the same age, job, and location range as my end users.